Not quite ready. Yes, I do. Okay, it's streaming live. All right, give me a second, Sufi. I'm going to put an intro on to allow people to come in, and so I can share out.
Got a little soul speak on the ascension that we all share. This unveiling, this apocalypse. You know, all this discussion of what is reality, conspiracy, heresy, truth that's stranger than fiction. Doesn't get any better than this. It's not just time to bring on the apocalypse, it's time to start riding it. It's not going to hurt us. Because one thing's for sure, in our conscious mind and even in our subconscious, if that's what you want to call it, we have always survived. And the reason for that is because we never die. So when it comes to ascension, what else is there to talk about? This ascension, unveiling, is not complicated. It's just a microcosm of the state of our being from any point, from this present moment to any point in our past. And in regard to the past, now we can look back to see, to awaken without the element of linear time. Yeah. Because the wisdom still comes. Because the universe is never late. That means we can take from our past the powerful wisdom of the eternal moments, seen when we unveil the hurts and the blame given and received. You know, we've reached a point where forgiveness will cease to exist. Because perfection did not create forgiveness, but as a path to a higher perfection, a new reflection of itself, of ourselves. Yeah, it's true. It's just not necessary forgiveness, and neither is earth love. So we can stop chasing both right now and all the false securities and failed searches that go with the lofty goals of a moral world. Both the things that they put beyond our reach and the reasons they gave us for not being able to reach them. It's time to re-enter the fold of the immortal, the fold of the I Am soul.
Okay.
I heard you.
Yep.
I don't see your face. Oh, wait.
How about
there
that?
You go.
Okay.
That looks pretty good to me.
Okay, good.
Woo! What's going on, Sufi?
Well, you know,
how are you?
I'm doing good. I've just had a kind of a full day, and I'm just relaxing now.
It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. I apologize to everyone now that the screen might be a little shaky at times. I'm not set up too good, so it's actually I'm holding my phone. So
why don't you set it down?
Well, because I might try in a little bit if it gets too tight.
You know, I'll use like a shirt or a towel and just set it on there.
Okay,
but,
maybe I'll look for something.
I don't want you to be uncomfortable.
Oh no, I've set my arm up to be good. I'm okay.
I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. Big shout out to Elfie and Rita down in Southern California. They put us up.
All right.
Maureen Moss is here from Ashland.
Hello.
Hello, Maureen. Beth Buslash, I think she's somewhere up in Washington. She wrote, we missed her when we were driving up. We drove right by your house, Sufi.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, you probably
Yeah.
did.
And I see Anna Thomas out there. I think she just went to Machu Picchu. She's a very good friend of mine, old friend of mine. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people out there. Danny Picard, he's in Portland.
Portland. Yep.
Yeah. So you're in Eugene.
Yes.
And, you know, as is, well, as we continue to refine our, let's just say, other than professional style at Soulogy, we just go in there and start having a conversation. But I feel like because I feel like I know you, this is a very easy transition to, and we've exchanged messages. You offered us a place to sleep and a visit, and that was very sweet of you and your family. And we are going to head back south here within a couple of weeks and stop in Eugene and come see you.
Yeah, that sounds great. That would be really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will. It will. We enjoyed listening to your messages today.
Thanks.
Let me just, I don't even know why I say this anymore. If these shows resonate with you, please share, because we have some challenges staying above the algorithms at Facebook. I think this is all about to change. And also thank you everybody for your continued love and support contributions, because we're on a wild ride. Morgan and I, we're staying on a friend's ranch, 5 acres in northeast Washington State, about an hour from the Canadian border. There's a huge vegetable garden out there, and I've been eating for the first time in my life vegetables right out of the ground.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I'm milking a goat every morning and feeding 3 goats and a bunch of pigeons and chickens. And
so not much different than Hawaii then, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. We had organic food over there. I mean, a garden, but not like this. There's zucchinis out here. They're as big as my my upper thigh. You know.
Wow.
They're this big.
That's excellent.
And we're gonna have some. What is it called? I'm gonna get it wrong. Starts with an R H. You eat the stems.
Rutabaga or rhubarb.
Rhubarb. Yeah.
Probably rhubarb.
Morgan's going to make some of that. But anyway, I just want to say thanks to everybody, because it's not easy, and you guys support make it possible. So this is really, for me, this is I'm happy to be sitting across from Sufi, because I feel like today is 9/11. It's a number that's always stood out in Morgan's life, 9/11. Some people get 11/11. I don't know. It just seems really important.
It is
9/11 today. So, and then leading into you, you sent me a little bio. It was the perfect type of bio to me. It's the ones where you just you want a bio. I don't have a bio here. Let me just write something real quick. And in that bio, you describe yourself to so many of us, but you talk about being a light worker, wayshower, whatever we are. In this place of no labels now, no space, time, and labels. But you talk about your interest in ET, and there was something else too with that.
ET, the UFO ascension.
UFO.
The event, Yeah.
And one of the things that struck me is if people were watching 3 or 4 days ago when we got to Portland, we were contacted by Greg Sullivan. I can't believe I'm remembering all these names. Who is with J Aseti, J acronym Aseti, which is Japan Aseti, as in the Aseti Ranch in northeastern Washington that James Gillian has. So he's very close with that group over there, and he's going to get Soulogy in there. So we're going to be going up there to the ranch. And so when you sent me that note, it said you were, I don't know how you put it, like an amateur UFO.
Armchair.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us whatever you want to tell us?
Okay.
but I'm curious as to, I think this subject is starting to align more. I know there's a lot of, this is just my opinion. Let me know what you think. I believe that there's a lot of disinformation in the UFO camps, in the ET camps, and even in the Ascension story.
Yes.
I think the human is the hero. I don't think the spaceships are going to land and save us. I think that violates universal law. I think we got ourselves into this perfect divine mess. And I think we're fully capable, supernatural human hybrid souls, and we have a way of getting out, which the universe has never seen before, and it's extremely impressive. What's your view of UFOs and the ET star family situation?
Well, I could give you a little background on how the interest developed. So my parents are what I call hippie parents. So I grew up with a really good, to me, it's just like open mind and kind of freedom to, think what I want and follow what I want. But I also had a influence from my parents, but it wasn't over the top. And I remember seeing Close Encounters of the Third Kind when I was a little girl, probably 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it just had a really, really lasting impression on me.
Yeah.
And even at that young age, I got my brain thinking, like registering many different aspects of the movie to like look out in my life now. Like for instance, in the movie, there's semi trucks being, they have these fake labels, like company names put on the side, when inside really they have either like, recovered spacecraft or who knows what, but they're putting a fake like U-Haul sign on the outside. Perfect disguise, correct?
Yeah.
So it just, I'm always thinking like that because of shows like that and that have influenced me to a degree and get me thinking. My father lived out in the middle of the wilderness all of my childhood, so I spent a lot of time out in the deep forest with no humans anywhere around. My dad was a gold miner, so we're out where the gold was, and that's very, very deep woods. And I believe my dad was an experiencer and a contactee. And it does tend to run in the family. But I'll get but I'll get back to that. So I did join the military. I joined the Air Force. Right out of high school. And unfortunately, at that time, I didn't really have my interest very much waned. I was young and, I was just focused on let's be in the Air Force and see what happens. And I wasn't in very long, maybe about 4 years. And after I got out, I was able to get back on more of the research. And I would say it was around 1994, when I bought a lot of books to research the subject further. Books like Behold the Pale Horse, Nothing in This Book is True, but it's exactly how things are.
Wow. And you were what, 25?
24.
Reading William Cooper's Behold the Pale Horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Mm-hmm.
classic. That was a no bullshit kind of book.
But I also read Montauk Project and was able to meet Preston Nichols, who was the one that led that whole research team.
Yeah.
And there's another, Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Messiniak. And then, as the internet came along, before that, Art Bell. Yeah. Art Bell, Coast to Coast. He kept me up a lot of nights for years.
Yeah.
And that definitely fueled my interest. And fast forward, even when I met my husband, I made sure to let him know within a couple of weeks that this is an interest of mine, because it's not going anywhere and it's part of my life. And I don't want to be ashamed of it or, hold any part of myself back. I just want to, be fully myself and be accepted for that. And
so you told him you were an ET?
No, sorry, no. No,
I'm not kidding.
It could be, who knows? I guess we all are in some aspect.
Yeah.
But he had never really studied the subject, but he was open-minded, and it was really impressive because he started doing his own research to understand what I was talking about, and looked into Stephen Greer and the National Press Club disclosure hearings in the late 90s or early 2000.
Yeah.
And so that was great to have a partner that could support my belief, maybe not believe everything I do, but at least someone that I can discuss these things with. And so back to my dad, I did ask him questions after I started really getting into this in the 90s, about his potential experiences. And in my opinion, it's a yes that he has. There's some things
Did
that
he?
can't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, there was a lag. Go ahead.
Oh,
There's some
one of the,
things.
yes, well, I'll give you an example. I was talking to him on the phone and talking to him about this subject, and he cut me off and interrupted me. And it was in such a way that it stands out in my mind that it was just really odd the way he did it. And he says, these little men put something up my nose. And then he kind of like stopped talking about it. And it was almost like he didn't know he said it to me. And it really floored me when I heard that. And then after that is when I had to research even more, like what are signs, what are symptoms, what to look for, what kind of clues. And then started thinking, maybe is there some possibility that, I might be having some involvement, having spent so much time with him as a kid in the woods, when you can't tell the time, there's no clock, anywhere, anytime. I wouldn't know if I had missing time. I wasn't monitoring missing time. Also, I'd like to say that I've had so many dreams in my adult life of seeing ships in the sky. It could be at night, at day, it doesn't matter. And in the dream, they feel so real. And I'm struck with awe, even in the dream. And sometimes there's people around and we're all looking. And some of the dreams have been more elaborate. And I've never actually seen myself on a craft.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, inside a craft. I've seen one being in a dream. This one is one of my favorites. A couple years ago, about 2, I had a dream that I saw a ship and I felt it was in space. So I'm watching it and I felt it had a trajectory, like I knew which direction it was going. And at the same time in the dream, I saw, felt, or sensed, I don't know how to explain it, but 333. It's not like I saw the numbers necessarily like flash. It's just I knew that they were there, 333. And yeah, very interesting. I've had numbers show up in my dreams before. Like I've had binary code.
Yeah.
And I think
where do you sit with that? I mean, well, I guess what I'm saying is, in your opinion, I mean, because like, okay, if I look at dreams, I know they're real. They're not real like this is real. Well,
yes, different. It's different realm.
They're not as limited as this experience. That's probably not even the right word. But so I know that we don't sleep. I mean, and so now you're having these experiences that we, like I said, we would call dreams or dream state.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're commanding that experience in some way, and then maybe in another way you're experiencing it. But I guess what I'm getting at is that it seems like there's some type of alignment occurring because everything is coming to truth.
Yes.
And I'm talking beyond, what's going on in this world. That's like the superficial, and I hate to downplay or make light of anything because I'm not trying to, but I'm talking about these things that we think are so horrific and terrible and that need to be changed. And to me are distractions from the only thing that matters, and that is stepping into our own power and having fun with it. But so what I'm getting at is there seems to be some type of alignment occurring as truth takes the 0 point. And we become more clear in that field of what we're seeing, touching, feeling. And one of those things is star family, our lineage. A lot of people refer to it as our future. I came from the future 50 million years from now to save the world again. And I think it's our past. I think the star family is our past, if there is such thing in the non-linear.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's some type of alignment occurring. What's your opinion? How much of that stuff do you feel is really true? How many of the stories that we read, you're very well read. I just on the books you wrote, that to me is very impressive because it's a good range. It's a good range.
Yeah.
It's not just like a specific area, but what do you think that's all about? I'm just curious. We've never really talked too much about this.
Yeah. Well, I I subscribe to the belief that the majority of contact and experience that people are having is positive, is with positive ET. For instance, there's that study called FREE. I think it's the Foundation for Research for Extraterrestrial. I can't remember, but it's Edgar Mitchell and Ray Hernandez and a couple other, you know, fellas have put together this survey, a vast, vast survey, and have sent it up to people who have asked for it for all over the world. But anyway, so I believe that positive for me. I also believe it, if I'm having contact, I believe it's positive, because when I look into the subject, I don't feel nervous. I don't feel scared. I feel excited.
Yeah.
I feel very interested. And I just started learning about star seed, star family, more about 3 years ago, when it was more on my radar that it was something to be researched and looked into. And I now we have those labels, of course, but I do feel like I am a star seed. But I know that I feel like my definition of it might be different than others, because I feel like there's one definition that says that you're having a parallel life right now.
Yeah.
As your different aspect. Whereas I believe that, and that may be true, I've had one person tell me that is what is happening with, 2 people tell me that's what's happening with me. But I feel it's more so that my soul has lived as an existence as an extraterrestrial being I feel like the majority of my lifetimes may have been, and that I've not been to Earth much.
I resonate with that. Although I think there's some people, I think there's some people, at least to me, have more of a galactic feel, like Morgan since the day I met her. You know, I feel very organic. Like I came from the dirt, like from the lava and everything.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So you're
Like
very connected to Earth. Is that what you mean?
I don't, people, when I tell people that, they say that, they'll make that or take that, make that comment or ask me that question. I really feel, I've always felt the same for everything. Almost like a disconnect. You know how you get to the point where you're like, I don't want to say it, but like that 5D frequency where you kind of lose the human like the human version of I love you, and the emotions. You kind of lose all that stuff, and you get to a place where you still have this unconditional love and stuff. But I've always felt that way about it. It's weird. I don't know. I'm weird. I think
very
I'm weird.
Interesting.
But I agree with you. I think that regardless of some people, if you have a more galactic field, some more organic, because if I look at Vera Ingeborg, for instance, she's very organic by her own admission, but she's got that high level stuff coming in, that's just, it's just unarguable, right? So, but I think there is, what resonates with me with what you're saying is the starseed, the history, the lineage.
Yeah, the lineage.
I've had many experiences, and like with you, they're all very positive. But I wanted to ask you too, what is 9/11 all about?
Yes. Okay. Well, I would like to, say something about it. It's a special day. It's a special day because it's a day to remember and to honor the lives that were lost. And I just feel like there's way more to what going on than what the public is told. It doesn't add up. The stories don't add up. The buildings, the crashes, the evidence. It's very disturbing, and it's also disturbing that so many people just simply buy the story that the media, has been forcing us for many years. And I hope that's the last time we ever see something like this happen. And I feel manipulated, and I feel like all of our country and the planet is manipulated by not just this story we're being told about why it happened or who did it, but this is just one example of so many that are going on and have happened already.
Do you think that okay, let's talk about transformation, right? We're all transforming, essentially, right? I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Right, intellectually, we're expanding. Our connection with infinite intelligence is expanding. Our telepathy, our human hybrid soul grid is strengthening. So, the first step, to this is being aware of what's happened. And I think a lot of people, 9/11 was a big deal for a lot of people because it did wake people up over these past 20 years, almost 20 years. It was the beginning of their awakening because it was so ridiculous.
You're right.
And so stupid, okay, for for us to even have considered it, and I did. I mean, I bought it when it came out. I was in the Matrix, but my point is that our power is so immense, and it's becoming so apparent and obvious that this, that stuff doesn't even matter anymore. Like the more we think about it, the more it becomes, the more we energize it.
Yes, true. Yeah.
And I see this whole thing, everything has been designed because we're so powerful. Everything has been designed to take our focus off of ourself.
Distraction.
Yeah. And so to me, distraction, number one, and then the distortion from the fourth dimensional, nefarious entities or whatever you want to call it, which we've all pretty much come to the conclusion it's been removed now. But what I'm saying is that, distraction and distortion. So anything that is taking my mind off of myself, is to me, at a minimum, a potential program. And that includes, to me, any story that I might attach to, which is, say, a past trauma, and we all got through that, or a past life memory, or a future memory, or even a ET Star Family encounter, or a divine essence appears in my room, or whatever the case is. It's still, everything comes in, we take it in, we learn, and we move on. It just seems like when we get attached to anything, including some of this stuff that we've been through, it slows us down. I think
it really does.
Yeah.
It does. And that, I feel like that day, it tried to do that to humanity, but it kind of, part of it backfired too, because it brought a lot of us together. And like you said, it was the beginning of the awakening.
Yeah. Now, in terms of 9/11 today, now, and I totally respect and honor what you said. I don't believe in death, and I don't believe this movie that we're watching. We just had somebody from my hometown that I did not know, but a very dear brother's family member who was an extraordinary artist, Daniel Johnston, passed away. There's a lot of grief in my brother's family, and I understand that, and I know 9/11 was at the human level, but today we know this isn't real. We know we have the power to transform this whole scenario. I believe this is far more than an earth correction. I think it's a universal correction. I think we're healing Pleiadian traumas and Anunnaki reptilian traumas.
Yes, all of it has to be healed to ascend, right?
Yeah, and we seem to be cleared. We seem to be at the center of it, and in the great paradoxical teachings of the universe, what is high is low, and what is very light is actually the very dark. I read something one time where they said that the human realm, this realm, is actually the closest, the lowest density, but the closest to God.
Wow, lowest density, but closest.
Well, if you think about it, the hardest shell covering, you know what I mean? We've all been
okay.
And I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that it's something to think about. Of course, we always got to stay open. But what I was getting at was today. What is given the journey we've had? What does 9/11? You mentioned numbers and dreams. What does 9/11 mean today? Does anything come up for you beyond what we all would first refer to? But I mean, like 8/8 Lionsgate, this 9/11 seems to be standing out.
Well, for numerologies, there's definitely something there. Other than what is it today? It's a marker of a tragedy for me. Yeah. It's a tragedy because of the lies and the lives that were lost. But and I didn't, when it happened, I didn't understand about soul contracts. And I feel like I understand more about soul contracts now. And perhaps the theory would be that everyone who died on that day, agreed to that before they were born as part of their, their life lessons or karma or contract. So, I mean, that helps me feel a little better, but I don't know if the people who lost their loved ones would would probably be comforted by that. I wish they would, because it does seem to help. And if you believe in the afterlife, I think it helps too. And I definitely believe in life after death.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that come on the show, myself included,
Hmm.
my wife, that have had, interdimensional experiences, past life recollections, future life communications. We had aspects of ourselves enter the room, enter our bodies. There's no doubt in my mind, there is no such thing as death. That's probably the main domino in the illusion, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
the other place that we're at too is that, oneness is oneness. You can't be, in the words of the good book, I am that. If you cannot say I am that,
If you're separate.
but I'm not that over there. I'm not that Anunnaki, and I'm not that demon, and I'm not that devil or that energy. And there's not a good guy, bad guy thing here. I mean, oneness is oneness, period. And that's not something that we could have understood, I think, collectively 20 years ago, but I think we're pretty damn close to doing it now, especially with all these kids coming in.
Oh yeah. The indigos, the rainbows, the crystals. I know they're, or without the labels, just very special, evolved little beings that are being born very, very awake. What we need.
Yeah. I want to say hello. I don't know if anybody saw the show we did impromptu in Mount Shasta with, I'm going to get her name wrong, Horaku. I'm sorry, Blue Star Child. We walked in an amazing
Oh,
show.
the art shop. I didn't get to finish seeing the rest of that. Okay.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. And she's incredible. We're going to connect again soon. I want to point out this along the lines of what we're talking about with what Morgan put up a comment that somebody had come in and talked about the other day. And I can't remember who it was. Lisa Renee, which we all, you still there, Sufi?
Yes. Hold on. Let me get back to, okay.
Yeah. Lisa Renee, we all know Lisa Renee, and big props to her for her work, says that the draconian broke into the 9th dimension and the 11th dimension to create duality that many of us are mending at the moment. Now, I would take that statement, and then if you watch the series of shows that we do with Franco, he talks about that this is all, everything that we experience is agreed upon before we do it. And that 10,000 years ago, this realm was built on duality, and it wasn't as intense as it's been. And this was, whatever, I forget the timeline, but somewhere around 10 or 15,000 years ago, a couple of beings came forth and said, hey, we'd like to make this even, we'd like to get even more expansion out of this, in other words. Okay. And everybody agreed. And if you look at the storylines of something like what Lisa Renee's describing and what Franco talks about, they may come across a little bit different. One may have more of a Star Wars kind of good guy, bad guy line. The other one's more subjective, but they're saying the same thing. I can see that. I can see that we're actually that brilliant. I don't think we can be owned unless we tricked ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to us to get out of the illusion, right? So, I mean, we have to untrick. We have to set ourselves free. And that's why we have these things in our lives that are set up to wake us up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a good place to be when the universe has to come knocking on your door because you're not paying attention.
Yeah. What about, how do you feel about the possibility of close encounters of the third kind type of occurrence?
I think that has happened. There are, was it Spielberg, right, who did that movie?
Yeah.
Supposedly he got that material from real events for the movie. And that event supposedly happened at Holloman Air Force Base.
Yeah. That's right.
And so, I mean, I think those things have happened. I think they're still happening, and I think they will be happening more and more all the time. And it's just a matter of where is it happening and when will we be able to know more about it. I mean, it's just so top secret.
Yeah.
But they hide everything in plain sight too. So It's frustrating. I mean, I'd like to know, more, and that's why I keep researching. It's like the more you go down the rabbit hole. You start one thing, and then you see 5 million other things that are interesting, and the next thing you know, you're lost. You're never coming out.
In talking to this gentleman, Greg Sullivan, the one with Japan Aseti, we met at the airport the other day. I asked him, I said, how did you find out about Soulogy? And he said to me, you get to a certain point and you stop reading and you stop watching videos. Now, I'm just saying, I'm bringing this in because, again, this is what we do here. We just bring in different realities or different experiences, and hopefully we all pull away, obtain additional code from each other and expand. And it kind of struck me because, anyway, he went on to say that you popped up on my YouTube channel. But yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I still do a little bit of research, but I used to do it all the time. And that was the reason I brought that up, is because we're in that blend. We're in that blend of the physical human having to take in this information, understand something, and then also there seems to be this other channel opening up into our multidimensional aspects universe, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Where do you stand with that? Are you getting because everyone's different, the universe communicates to each one of us differently. Are you getting communication from infinite intelligence, from any face of the universe, any type of essences, galactic, angelic?
Yeah. Well, Archangel Michael, for one, and I feel like I'm being communicated to with numbers. Numbers are high on my experiences, and obviously that's a communication not obviously, but hopefully with angels. I don't know where else maybe they are coming from, but there's no, it's more than synchronicity, it's for a reason. I definitely resonate and relate to ascended beings. I usually just, work with or call on Yeshua, Archangel Michael, Holy Spirit. My own guardian angel. I don't have a name for him or her, but I'm very connected with my angels. I have been since I was a little girl when I had an experience.
And do you get like fresh intel from your communication? Like for instance, what did the numbers relay any type of message? And I realize these messages don't always come in the English language or in language, but
not yet. I don't feel like I think I'm still developing my different psychic intuitive gifts. But I did feel like I did some channeling a couple months ago spontaneously. And so I had read that if you channel, you usually don't remember what you say. But what I can sort of remember from it was I asked if this was Arcturians, and they said yes. And gosh, I should have wrote this down. And I think they were referring to me as sister. And I think I was asking about the event or ascension. And I'm trying to remember, the answer wasn't anything profound. Maybe just something that, yes, it is real, or it's coming. I can't really go into anymore because I don't remember. That's one of my bad habits, is not going down and writing down as soon as something happens, because then I forget the details.
I think everybody's probably in the same boat with you on that one. What do you think about crop circles?
Oh, fascinating and amazing. They're definitely communication, most definitely. I think they're usually, and not so much predictions, and not so much warnings, but well, just communicating with us. Like, for instance, we have the crop circle that Aurora was talking about. Rhea, Aurora, Athena, from a couple months ago. That was it looked like a clock and it was striking almost midnight. I mean, that's very, very telling, and there's definitely a message there. And I think she deciphered it accurately. I mean, it was my idea with it. And there might be some fake ones, some fake crop circles, but there's some that are so perfect in their detail and so sharp in their edges, and they appear overnight. There can't be any other explanation. There's more studies to that, like the wheat shaft has been changed, the DNA or molecules or something in it has been changed, and you probably know more about it than me.
I don't. I'm just
Oh yeah,
curious. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't. Have you been to the Ascetti Ranch?
I haven't, but I want to go very much, and I actually put it in my GPS to see how far away it was,
Hmm.
because a friend of mine said it was just a little over 3 hours from Eugene.
Yeah.
From my home address to, I just put East City Ranch in. It said 3 hours and 33 minutes.
Well, then if you can't, yeah, that's pretty much telling you what you need to know right there.
333 right there.
Yeah.
And then, my dream with the 333 with the ship I had. Um,
Well,
I go to Shasta a lot.
yeah.
Um,
Have you?
last summer,
Yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead. Well, last summer I went twice. I went for a women's ladies light worker retreat.
Hmm.
And then for the last 3 summers, I've gone to Shasta for a camping event called Mission Rama. So it's the Rama mission. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's based on a different form of contact with the extraterrestrials. So it's more like doing a lot of consciousness, a lot of conscious work, and leveling up.
So it's more okay. So that's a good point. So it's a different type of ET contact, for lack of a better way to describe it,
Yeah.
and it's more of uh, a conscious intention to communicate
Yes.
on a one-to-one basis, I guess would be a way to put it,
Mm,
or say a non-typical basis.
yeah.
You know,
Well, like,
I can resonate with that. Yeah.
well, yeah, because my first summer that I went, I thought it was going to be different. Like we were going to be out at night doing a lot of whatever, right?
Mhm.
But it was explained to me pretty early on that contact starts from within.
Mhm.
So the point is to raise your frequency, clear your your lower stuff,
Mhm.
and in a group setting, so that we can all raise our frequency higher, with a more likelihood of having contact, and also with contact with the right beings with a
Yeah.
higher frequency with good intent.
Okay.
And so it's for 2 nights and 2 or 3 days, and really during the day we're doing a lot of exercises that are like meditations or like clearings, lectures, and then at night there's a little bit more of that and some more meditating, and then we sky watch, and then we do
Mhm.
some other things. But it's fantastic. It's wonderful to be out there it's over at Sand Flats, if you're familiar with
I've,
that
I've
part.
I've only been there for a couple of days, and I only got to
Oh.
a couple of different places.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, on this, I agree with that. I mean, I've, oh well, I know I've talked to a lot of psychics and mediums. These labels, they just don't work. But I mean, over the
Hmm.
years, and it's very apparent that, and even been explained to me quite a few times, is that they raise their vibe, they raise their frequency, and then the contact
Hmm.
or the star family or whatever is bringing down there. It's like the meeting, you know,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
so that makes sense, especially. And then if you do it as a
Hmm.
group, it was
Yeah.
basically what I thought you were saying, except for it's as a group, which makes it even more powerful. You
Hmm.
talked about continuing to clear. I try to break everything down just to the most simplest thing, because I'm not able to hang on to like multiple complicating things, and I guess it all comes down to what people call inner work, shadow work, clearing. Because as we
Hmm.
clear and focus on the internal, instead of the external things that we want to go change and march and boycott and protest, but we change the things inside ourselves. Everything seems to correlate from that. Everything seems to be, reciprocated, proportionate to the
Hmm.
amount of shadow clearing that we do. Do you have any tools that you use specifically for shadow work or clearing? And is it a part of your daily life? I mean, where does that fit in?
Yeah. It is definitely a part of my daily life. I've been I'm not working. I'm taking time off, and I'm not sure how it's going to be going on for a while, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been doing nothing but clearing and purging and clearing and purging and clearing and purging, and thinking I'm going crazy because I'm purging so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been the last 2 years have accelerated my ascension journey big time.
Yeah.
So, but the last 6 months, I've come to start appreciating and realizing that when I'm quote unquote triggered, it's a gift,
Yeah.
because it's showing me where I still have to heal.
Yeah.
And the whole point, obviously, is it's great to be healed for a variety of reasons, but I'm kind of subscribed to the belief that the more I clear and the more I heal, the further along I'm in my ascension journey.
Yeah.
More likely to, catch the ride.
Yes.
Because, we can't bring this bullshit with us.
I
And
love this.
yeah,
It makes you look at these people that piss you off a whole lot different.
yes, because okay, I've had some issues the last few days with, that when you, like, say you call your cable company and you have to listen to a menu and then you got to go through all that. So it always sets me off. And so I started thinking, okay, what is the universe trying to teach you? What's
Right.
the lesson here? The lesson clearly is that it's coming up and showing up in my life, because until I can react in a calm manner,
Right.
and not get fired up,
Yeah.
it's going to keep presenting itself to me.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm trying to look at my challenges.
Now, how do you clear them? Or how
Well,
do you integrate them or balance
I
them?
think I'm still learning some of that, but I feel like right now what's helping me a lot is the awareness and recognizing that that's probably what's happening with me. And then I try to, I do a lot of self-talk.
Okay, that was
And
my
some,
next. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
self-talk, and I'm working a lot on changing how I talk to myself and the language that I use, and reframing. Words are so powerful.
Yeah, aren't they? And it's
Mhm.
weird. It's weird. I'm glad you said that, because that's where I was going to go with it. I was there's something about becoming aware of something and then stating it. Now, I have the luxury
Yeah.
of being with somebody. We talk this stuff all day long, so we go through stuff. We went through
Yeah.
something yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It seems like almost every day. We went through something in our external field, and talking about it. It's like you don't know. I don't know. We just talk about it, and
Yes.
something about stating it out loud, stating what you know.
Acknowledging it.
Not ignoring anything, accepting things, and it's just a beautiful part of this transition, like the space between breaths, like the space between 3D and 5D. It's very interesting. But and then the other thing that you said too, which I totally agree, and I'm trying to become more and more I'm becoming more and more conscious of, is that is what I say, because what I say is real, and what I write is real, and so it's eliminating sarcasm. It's eliminating, any type of a superior, inferior. It's not easy, but it can be done with conscious effort, and I think it's real power in that.
It is. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with a YouTube guy named Ralph Smart. He's amazing. I've been watching him for several years, but he had a video out a couple days ago, and the excerpt was that when you say something like, I want to be happy, that was his example. I want to be happy. The universe hears, or that the universe answers everything with a yes. So the universe hears, yes, you do want to be happy. But then, you're just setting yourself up to just wanting to be happy and not actually being happy.
Yeah.
So you have to reframe it to, I am happy. And the universe hears you and says, yes, you are happy.
Yeah.
So I could, if I'm in a bad mood and I lose something and I call myself, a dummy or whatever, the universe hears, yes, you are a dummy. So it's affirming everything
Right?
that I say. So I might as well be careful and create something powerful and beautiful.
Yeah.
I am strong, I'm capable, I'm loving, I'm balanced, I am whole.
I think Morgan just put a comment up, and this is something that's come out more and more. I know she's been doing it for years and years with her private sessions, but that's polarities. I got something in the other day, and it was just very simple the way I like it, and it just was like, you and you alone are the cause of any separation, no matter what the situation, no matter what person it is, because it's all you. And I really got that. But on the road to getting that, and as a lot of people are realizing now, the polarities. So if I'm an empath, I identify with being an empath, and so many of us can. If I live with a narcissist, and so many of us did, I can't identify with them. I can't. Yeah, but it was a very prevalent combo. It was very, very prevalent in this this paradigm that we're coming out of, this experience of being less than awake. Many people on this show that are watching right now have been in a narcissistic empath relationship, an imbalanced relationship, a toxic relationship, a codependent relationship, whatever you want to call it. But what I'm trying to say is that we identify with one end of the spectrum, but we don't the other. And that is separation. So the importance of clearing not just the journey of the empath, but also the journey of in this example, of the narcissist. Or whatever the polarity is, because whatever we think we're not is where the work is.
That's absolutely true. I agree.
And how about you mentioned that you met a man, and early in the game you told him you were an ET, devotee, and that you were going to go, and then through his love for you, he became a researcher as it?
He's interested.
I'm just playing with you, but how is it journeying through this what we call ascension, this awakening with someone else, someone that you love, someone that you're in a relationship with?
It's been very difficult. It's been a very rocky and up and down, and we got a wonderful blessing in the last couple months of like we really hit some rock bottoms, and in that hitting the rock bottom is where we really like open. That's where the light comes in when you crack open, and it really actually turned around and advanced us, and it was like a blessing. So so leading up to, I'm just saying it's been a difficult journey, and also I'm an empath, very very strong one. And so it also makes the more complicated when you're in a relationship. So I'm still working on how to balance out those things. I need to learn more about grounding and centering and more meditation and allowing and accepting. And I think that the bottom line for everyone to heal and to be right with themselves in the universe is self-love and self-acceptance.
Yeah. And how do we increase that? How do we enhance and expand that?
Well, different things like how we talk to ourselves, what we say yes to, what we say no to, is a way of showing love to yourself, giving yourself a break, taking the pressure off. The responsibility really lies in us first before anybody else on how to because it all has to come from inside for the true peace. That's where the peace that passes all understanding is going to start. It's not going to be on the outside. Right. And I feel like if the light starts inside you and then spreads out, it's stronger than it being outward and then coming inward to you. I don't know if any of that made sense. So
no, absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. Yeah, and then getting back to what are we doing here? What the bleep is this anyway? And then just reflecting on the Lisa Renee thing and the Franco thing, even some of the other intel that comes out from like Jason Estes, Amanda Lawrence, these people all saying different things, but kind of saying the same thing. There seems to be a growing consensus, or let's say a growing field of intel that says the reptilian energy was removed, the archons are gone, the distorted 3D matrix is collapsing rapidly, and we're moving into a new era where the distortion is no longer there, or distraction is no longer there, other than what's still playing and looping in our own field by our own unconscious choice or conscious choice.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I've heard those same things and they resonate with me. And, so I guess that all of this nefariousness and, sad things happening on the planet are as a result of our own, we're still, just because they're gone doesn't mean we're all good people all of a sudden. We have a lot to clear and to let go of and still bring to justice the people that we can. But it's encouraging, and it's scary at the same time, but I do feel like it's a divine plan. We are here, we signed up for this. We're alive because we want to witness this. And I think we're going to see it in our lifetime. I'd be shocked if I pass and I don't see it.
I think
felt
if you pass, you
Mhm.
will still see it.
Yeah,
That's the
well,
way
that's
this thing
true.
works.
That's true. That's
But
true.
no, I get what you're saying. And I think
Mhm.
these people, even some of the people I mentioned, talking about 2027 and 2035 and 2050, I don't buy
Mhm.
it. It's 20
Either.
20 minutes.
Mhm.
It's 20 minutes. And
I feel it's imminent.
if we want it to be, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's any hurry to get into either.
I know, I
that,
think about that sometimes too. Like,
yeah,
am I
because,
ready?
well, ready for what? Ready to go
Mm.
back to what we already knew? I mean, what
Well,
are we all doing?
definitely then.
We're searching for what the hell is going on here. Yeah, that's the whole point of the game that we set up here. So we know what's going on. We're omniscient. You know, we're God. We're however you want to describe it,
I
whatever
think
it is. You know, I
we're
mean,
supposed to remember who we really are.
exactly,
And we're masters.
exactly.
We're supposedly
That's
masters here. All of us. And that's the hard part for me to believe, is that that murderer and the rapist down the road is a
abs-
master.
absolutely they are.
Hmm.
Absolutely, Hillary Clinton is.
And they're
Every
all,
one of them
why?
are.
And are they masters because they're teaching us?
Well, think about it. Somebody's got to play. Everyone, there's got to be.
Yeah,
You got to
a
have
role.
every part in the play. I
Hmm.
think you know, when you made the comment, I've got to bring these people to justice. I used to feel the same way, but I realized that was separation. Now I
You're
know that's
right.
not easy to understand, but here's the thing: disclosure is personal. Don't take anything personal, but it's a personal trip. So we
Yeah.
run this thing. It's not about this person or that person. It's about us. It's about what you're talking about, and I think
Mhm.
that's overlooked. So when we talk about disclosure, let's say that these things, I mean, think about the polarities that would be running the gang mentality. And I'm not saying people don't deserve, I don't think deserve's got anything to do with it.
Mhm.
But my point is think about that the polarities running, that's, you know, separation, oneness is oneness. I think where the real opportunity lies is going to be in the level of compassion that each one of us has within our field, that in itself is the root of the creation, of the energy of creation, positive creation. In other words, the level of compassion we have, because if we have all this information, that's why we came back. What good is it if we don't apply
Mhm.
it? If we know
Right.
we're gods and gods, if we know we're masters, we know we don't at this level have everything figured out, we certainly can go to what we know to be the most utmost true things, and that is pure love, unconditional love, pure intention, you know, pure faith.
Mhm.
And why would it apply to us and not other people? You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's what's got us into this situation. I heard somebody going off this morning about the US of A. I'm not an American.
Right.
I am
Mhm.
not an earth being alone. I think I can stand with my brothers and sisters and say I'm from earth. I'm
Mhm.
an earthling. I'm a human hybrid soul that has an incarnation on earth in this
Yep.
moment. And that's very important. And I'll stand with you on that. But even that doesn't work. I think we're universal soldiers.
Mm.
I think we're
I like that.
badass. I really do. I
Mhm.
think anyone that signed up for this assignment, you're in the military. Anyone
Yeah.
that signed up for this assignment is a absolute
Mhm.
universal spiritual badass. Period. Period.
Yeah, that's encouraging. It's better to think about it like that way, and I think it's true too. I mean, I'm learning still more. I mean, obviously we all are, but
Yeah. Yes.
it's such
Isn't
a
the
great journey, and there's nothing that interests me more than all of these things that we're talking about.
Well, we're gonna have fun together.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we'll go to the Ascetti Ranch together.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would be sweet. Yeah.
yeah, I just lost it. Oh, you know, another thing that I'm finding that's happening too, which I really encourages me, is the okay. So the frequency, and I don't know, I guess I have to say it like guru, yogi, teacher,
Mhm.
any anyone or anything or any energy that's presenting something as an absolute. Oh, it's this way or it's that way.
Yeah.
or it's this. It's not having the effectiveness it used to have on people. It's more of what you're saying, which is I don't know everything. I'm open to everything. I'm learning. I'm dedicating my conscious existence to this ascension, to my own personal growth. Right.
Right.
These very, what would seem like very elementary, basic things. Really, that's the authenticity. That's the real deal to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and being born with and then getting the name that my parents selected, Sufi, is it's like such, like almost like a curse, and I say that as a laugh, because my name means seeker of the truth. So I've been literally seeking the truth all my life, and my name is making sure that I do that.
You can't make this shift up.
No, you can't. No.
Well, you left me some 2 or 3 messages. I just got them today.
Oh yeah, that was okay. I knew you probably wouldn't get them for a couple of days.
Yeah, I see them come in. I can never go get to them though. But anyway, one of the things you were just saying, this is who we are. You're welcome to come by.
Mm-hmm.
It was very sweet. And then you said we're good, decent people, and I think that you are. And I look forward to meeting you.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to Morgan and I coming by and
we do too.
Yeah, and maybe we can get a little caravan one day in a few months or weeks.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Head over to a SETI ranch and have a group discussion.
We're game. Yeah.
Experience. Maybe we'll all board a spaceship together, or maybe we'll build one.
Yep.
Maybe our multidimensional selves will walk out of it and we'll shake hands and say whatever. I don't know. I feel something coming. There's something building. I'm with you. It's imminent, but you're a wonderful, beautiful being, very authentic, raw, real, and I love what I do. I got the best job in the universe.
You do have a great job. Really great.
Yeah, I'll take that one. So, all right, I'll see you later.
Thank you. To say hi to Morgan, and
I will.
have a great day.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
Okay.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye.